Welcome to They Say Anything, where we give you the live, uncut, raw truth and good information that you could use in your daily life. I'm Julian or
And
Wellesley,
I'm Bun.
and we have
And
a
this
great,
is
great, great show for you today. And we have a great guest, one of our really, really, really long time friends, a very successful person. And Bun's going to give you his introduction.
what's good, everybody. Welcome back to They Say Anything. I'm Bun here with my co-host Wells, and today we got a real one in the building. We got Ernie Ace Walton, over
Yo,
20 years in the fitness game, multiple men's physique titles, WBFF Pro, and he worked with everybody from Tracee Ellis Ross, Morris Chestnut, Cordell Broadus, aka Snoop's son, and the legendary Shock G. So this ain't just about fitness. This is discipline, mindset, business, and real transformation.
mm.
Welcome to the show, Ernie.
yo, ski, bro, skis. Thank you for having me.
Yo,
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on your platform. And salute
Thank
to
you,
y'all,
bro.
man. It's a salute to y'all. This is official. I appreciate this. Y'all got me feeling real good out here. Thank you. Thank
well,
you.
you're looking good, man. That's why we brought you here, man.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. It must be
Yeah.
this good lighting I got over here. This good lighting make you look good, you know?
Nah, man. Maybe it's all the
That's good living.
extracurriculars.
That's
Yeah.
good living.
Yes,
Word.
sir. Yes, sir.
How you feel today?
Good, man. Good. I feel good. I'm over here. I'm at Eddie's office right now, and just ready for this, man. I've been waiting, looking forward to this. Thank you.
Okay, that's beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Well, do us a favor and give a formal introduction to yourself for people who don't know you. Um, you know, just just tell them who you are.
So my name is Ernest Tyrone Walton Jr. My trainer name is Ace. Always chasing excellence. I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania, born and raised here. I left Reading about 20 years ago. Actually, I left Reading to go to California to be a rapper. That didn't work out, but I definitely transitioned into something more positive and fell into personal training. Now, how I fell into personal training was I was taking acting classes, and my coach was like, "Yo, you're gonna need a job that's flexible." And at the time, I was living with a personal trainer. Shout out to my man Malachi. And his schedule was he would wake up between 5 a.m. and be home by like 9 a.m. and then we'll have all the time during that rest of the time and then go back to work at 5 to 10 p.m. So I was like, ooh, I like that schedule. Mind you, I was already in the gym already, just working out, trying to better myself. And then yeah, so that's how I fell into getting personal training out there. But let me digress. How I fell into how I started in fitness was Greg Smith actually was my first personal trainer. I'm not sure if you know who Greg Smith
Shout
is.
out to Greg Smith.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Greg.
Hair
yep.
Street,
Okay.
6th Ward.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Greg Smith. So, before I left to California, I was dating a girl from Miami, and she had broke up with me. And at
Oh,
that time, yeah, at that time, 50 Cent came out with "Get Rich or Die Trying," right? And remember, he had his shirt off.
Yeah,
So
talk it.
yeah,
Pause.
so I was like, oh, okay. Well, I saw the reaction of the females, and I was like, man, like if they're reacting about him about that, man, let me just try this. So the first, closest thing to 50 Cent I ran into was Greg Smith. He was working it was at Gold's Gym, and I went up to him and was like, yo, I want to get serious about this. And actually, Greg was my first personal trainer, so I definitely want to make sure I give him his flowers and let him know I appreciate everything that he
Yes.
did for me, and he put me on the map with just working out in general.
right. Shout out Greg Smith.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out Greg Smith. We supposed to actually be doing a little class. Him and my homie Mike Gwen. He's a trainer at Wild Fit as well too. We're gonna do like a little like all three of us are gonna get together and run a fitness class. So
Oh,
we'll keep y'all posted on that for sure.
that's beautiful. We'll put that information out for everybody to be able to utilize it and get in shape if you choose to. So you met Greg. Greg was your first personal trainer, and your mindset was rap, but you needed a job. So what happened? We listening.
So, man, it's crazy because at that time, now let's fast forward. We're going to go back to California when I first became a trainer. So I didn't have no certificate yet, and I was working at Trader Joe's still taking my acting classes. And what they did is they actually fired me right before I always came home during Christmas time. And when they fired me, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I'm like, man, I don't got my cert yet. So my boy Chris Clay, who I moved out to California with, shout out to him. He had a friend who was a fitness manager at 24 Hour Fitness. So my boy Chris Long, I went to talk to him. He looked at my resume. He knew that I was from the East Coast, and he was like, bro, if you just bring your East Coast mentality into this gym, he was like, I guarantee you'll be successful. So I got my cert. He hired me, and he was like, yo, all I want you to do is just go on the floor and just talk to somebody. So my first month of personal training, I sold $11,000 worth of training. I was the highest grossing trainer in that district for like a year and a half at 24 Hour Fitness. So that's how I really got started with personal training, was 24 Hour Fitness, which if any, yeah, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
he
you.
deserves
Appreciate
his
you.
flowers
Yeah.
for that, right?
Thank you for that. But it was a great stepping stone. Just, a lot of times a lot of people, they got certs you can get from anywhere now. And I think that's cool, but you definitely need to step into a gym and learn step by step on how to be a successful personal trainer. Because you can get a cert and just do whatever, but if you want to be successful at it, you do got to learn the ins and outs of it.
That's a beautiful,
So,
beautiful
so with 20
accomplishment
plus
as well.
years in the game, right? You've seen it all. So, what's the difference between someone that's in it, in it for the transformation, and those that quit for within the first week or month or so?
You get that a lot. It's the difference between motivation and discipline. Like, you can be motivated to get up and do it for the next couple of days, but in order to have longevity in it, you got to be disciplined about it. And I taught this class the other day. Whenever you get ready to say you're going to do something, there's always going to be that friction that's going to say, okay, are you really ready? And that's what happens to a lot of people, is they get motivated to do it, and then something comes up, and then they accidentally fall back from it. But if you're disciplined enough, you already know that no matter what gets in your way, that you're going to reach your goal regardless. So I would say the biggest difference is somebody who's motivated and then a person that's disciplined. Motivation will only carry you on for so long, but discipline is what's going to carry you on to the end.
That's one of my questions. What what keeps you going when the motivation fades?
So, let me ask you a question. Let me go back to the story when you was in California, 24 Hour Fitness, right? What would you say? What would you say your mindset was, and what would you say catapulted you to be able to do $11,000 worth of sales that caused you to have the trust in them people that you was just introducing yourself? Good day, hello, my name is Ern, boom, 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 and you was running it down. What do you think? What do you think gave the people that trust in you to be able to spend that money with that company? What would you think that is?
That's an absolute good question. I remember Chris telling me, at that time I had a headband, right? And I wore it upside down. Remember Nori used to wear the headbands with the
Yeah,
upside down, right?
right.
And I remember the district manager came in and was like, hey, you got to turn your headband up the other way. We can't have it like that. So when the district manager left, Chris turned it back. It was like, yo, turn your headband back around. He was like, yo, these people like you because of who you are. He said, I don't want you to change nothing that you're doing. He said, with your approach to people, he said, you're genuine. He said, people can automatically be attracted to you because of who you are. Your smile, it makes a big difference. He says, your presentation shows the people that you really care for them in your introduction. It's not salesy. You go up to ask people their name, how they doing. You ask them what's their kids' names. So the biggest difference is I really showed empathy right away in my introduction. It wasn't about the sale. It was just getting to know the person. And then just, I remember Chris telling me like, yo, be the mayor of the club. And he said, what that means is that you need to know everybody's name, their dogs, their kids. And I slapped five. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? So when people came to spend money with me, it wasn't necessarily, excuse me, it wasn't necessarily about the money. It was about the relationship that I was building along the way. And that goes, I
Mm,
tell people, don't chase the bag. You know what I mean? Chase the relationship. That's what's really going to carry you on to the next level.
that's great. That's a good answer. because a lot of time people just think you can just become a personal trainer and just go into the gym and become popular. And there's a lot of work that goes into building the trust after you acquire the certificate, and a lot of people fail
Absolutely.
at it because they're not. You got to be a good salesman, and you got to sell the idea that you can really transform your body if you follow this plan. And if you don't got the trust in the people, they're not
Yeah,
going to believe you.
not
They're
at
not going to
all.
believe you. Right.
So
You know,
so
people
going
can
back,
tell salesmen that they can smell a salesman. You know what I mean? You could tell somebody that's trying to sell you something
no,
between
definitely.
somebody that's trying to take care of you, make sure that you're. And that's the thing with personal training nowadays is, I would advise anybody if you are going to get a personal trainer, make sure you do your background on this person, like what certificate they got, and are these people really trying to help you out, or are they just trying to take some money from you?
So going back to the question I asked you though, right? When motivation starts to fade, what keeps you pushing?
Knowing this is a never ending journey, and I live by this. One of my biggest quotes is, it's not so much about the physical transformation, but what you learn about yourself along the way. Because the human body is going to always change. So you're going to always have to set some sort of goal for yourself. Whether, okay, let's just say as we get older, we start to have back problems. So you might want to get up, stretch, and do stretches for that to make sure that you're not having so much back problems. Or you might have knee problems. So your motivation is going to come from you just wanting to wake up in the morning, but your discipline to make sure that you have a longevity in this life is what's really going to help you out.
You got anything else, Bun?
Uh, for most people that work, like a regular 9 to 5, dealing with family stress, all that. You know what I mean? What's an efficient way for them to start seeing results, whether it be in the gym or with their discipline? You know what I mean? When the lack of motivation.
That's a great question as well, too. First and foremost, wherever you're at, if you haven't started your journey yet and you feel like if you are overweight and you want to get in shape, I would definitely go see your doctor first and make sure that I'm 44. I just got my blood work done for the first time. But people don't understand how important it is to make sure like you pass your physical. It's just like anything else. You can go and get a trainer. Anybody can go and get a trainer, and that trainer could not know that you have these certain conditions and end up butchering you. So I would tell somebody first and foremost, you need to get cleared by your physician first and foremost, and make sure that you're capable of doing like these physical activities. But if you're just getting started and you got a little bit of time, walking is the best thing. Take if it's not your dog, take your kids out for a walk, go to the park. I think nowadays we forget about what really kept us healthy when we were younger and was just getting out, getting some sunlight. Nowadays, I think people are just so focused on being in the house and watching Netflix and being on these tablets and being on these games that we forget that, when we were younger, we were out there riding bikes. Like we used to ride our bikes to what, City Park and back, you know what I mean? Like we got to get back to that. Being outside, just walking and taking your time.
Beautiful. So let me ask you. So when you establish the $11,000 worth of accounts, what happened from there in California?
Be a little more specific. What you mean by that?
All right. So like in the timeline, the storyline, right? What did the $11,000 worth of accounts change in your life, your motivation, and how did it broaden your spectrum? What did you do after you acquire? Some
Right, right.
it's like falling into money. Like some people go buy a
It,
car, some people go
yeah,
buy a business.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
right.
that's a great question, and I can remember that clearly. Right, I remember. I remember calling home and showing my mom I had a paycheck with a couple zeros on it, and just she was like, "Where'd you get that from? How are you doing that?" And then when I felt that, I was like, "Okay." I felt like I was
Okay.
walking in my yeah. I felt like I was walking in my purpose. Then you know what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh, this is something I really can do. That I can be successful at it." because I didn't fall. I mean, I didn't go into personal training when I first moved to California. It took me about 2 or 3 years, you know. So I had to put in some work. So when I first got that first paycheck, I was like, "Ooh, I really could do this for the rest of my life." Like, because not only does the gym did the gym help me financially, but you also got to understand the gym is the new club, right? So all the networking that you're doing, every single person that you're meeting in there does something, like whether it's auto, whether it's insurance, whether it's a promoter at the club. So to answer your question is, what it did for me was it showed me like, okay, this is the spot where I want to be at. I want to be right in the mix with all these people here, and it's a new club. This is exactly where I want to be amongst these type of people right here. It just showed me like, okay, cool. You got something that most people don't got, and you need to capitalize off of this.
All right, I got something. It's kind of like a two part question, right? Um, did everyone support you when you wanted to get in fitness, as far as like friends, families, and like how did you deal with the ones that didn't? You know what I'm saying? Support your fitness goals, like you know what I mean?
So that's a funny question. That's a great question too. So when I first got into fitness, let's talk about when I'm still in Reading, right? And I was training with Greg Smith, right? I remember at the time, JB was in Jamestown, and I remember I pulled up. I had a wife beater on, and I was playing the 50 Cent G Unit. What we here? So they start calling me 25 Cent, yo.
Not the quarter. We call them a quarter.
Yo, I'll never forget, yo. I pulled up. I was playing the new 50, and I hopped out, had a wife beater on. JB goes, "Who you think you are? 25 Cent?" Yo, JB had me cracking up, yo. So
Rest in peace,
Rest
JB,
in
man.
peace,
yes,
JB,
my
man.
God, my God. Something
We
like,
always
something
thinking
like.
about JB.
So, man, from the door, people when you're first doing it, people are always going to be like, well, fitness is huge now. When you're first doing it, it's like anything, you're going to do it for yourself. And eventually people are going to come along and see what you're doing. And I would encourage anybody, like, the only support belief that you need is in yourself. And eventually people will see the light. And now, people will start asking you questions on how you got to your journey. So definitely stay in your lane, because eventually it pays off. And realize that when you're staying in your lane, there's no traffic.
Not to make this about us, but me and Wells got this philosophy that we follow. Like, don't ask people to come to your party. Just throw a banging ass party. They
Yep,
gonna hear the
exactly.
music, see the lights, and they gonna want to come.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep. Absolutely. I love that. Yo. I love that.
You ask people to come to your party, they start feeling important.
Yeah.
They
Right.
won't come
Yep.
Oh, I
late.
got this thing at that. What you said,
They
Yeah.
Florida? I got
yeah,
this
like they
thing.
Right.
want yeah. If they
Right.
do
Right.
come, they
Right.
won't come
Maybe
late.
next
Right.
time.
Then
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
judging the party.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, nah,
Yeah.
you know what? You come if you want to. If you come, we're not going to turn you away. You're going
Mm.
to have a great time. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't come, it don't really matter to us. We're going to
Right.
keep doing
Yep.
what we're
Long,
doing
long
anyway.
as we
Exactly.
enjoying ourselves.
Yeah,
Yep.
drink to
100.
that.
Yep.
Drink to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep enjoying myself too. It's the way I live.
Right.
So
So
yeah.
what are some of the mistakes that you made in the
Hmm.
beginning and most beginners make when they try to get in, getting their bodies right and healthy and physically fit and all that?
Well, let me see. One of the mistakes. I was like a sponge when it came to this. I was always asking questions really about the time when I was getting involved in it. MySpace was out. So social media was just starting to bloom. Um, as far as mistakes, I really don't feel like I made too many mistakes. Maybe I honestly I can't think of any mistakes. I don't look at anything that I did as a mistakes. Everything was just trial and error, trying to figure things out, trying to figure out which lane was best for me. Um, yeah, I can't think of anything as far as failures. I mean, as far as mistakes. Uh, yeah, I can't think of anything right now. That's a great
So what are
question, though. But,
so what are some of the mistakes like some of your clients make in the
mhm,
beginning then?
man, would say people start okay, once again, because social media is so big, everybody, you can get opinions and advice from wherever. The when you are going to somebody for advice, you need to have a clear mind. Despite of whatever worked for somebody else, like people are, oh, well, my girl or my boy did this, well, it probably will work for me too. You're like, wait, I'm here to tell you about this part, and you're sitting here listening to somebody else. When you are reaching out to somebody, like I said, make sure you do a clear background check on them and see how knowledgeable they are and what experience they got. You're going to listen to everything that they're telling you and write it down and make sure that you're following what they're telling you. So one of the biggest mistakes I see with clients is you tell them something and then they go off and they do something that somebody they heard from somebody else. So when you are listening and you really know that this is a person, I always tell all my clients, I'm going to actually do an outline for you. Only thing I need from you to do is just trace it. It's real easy. I'm going to hold your hand through this. But oftentimes people, they get sidetracked or distracted and they go off and they try to do their own thing. And that usually can mess up the relationship between the client and between the trainer and the client. And I see that happen a lot of times because social media is so big. Everybody got an opinion on how to lose weight or how to build muscle nowadays. So it happens often that they end up listening to somebody else, and then they always come back. Well, what you said was actually true. Yes, I know what I was telling you was true, but you wanted to listen to somebody else. So it'd be like that sometimes. But when you get good clients and they listen to you, that makes you feel a lot better.
Right. A question. That was. You got anything else, man? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, no. You good? Go
And
ahead.
that was one of my. I was about to ask you that question. That was my question. That was my follow question. I was going to say to you, what are the challenges that social media poses as you try to train somebody to do something ABC, but
Yeah,
social media says you don't need ABC,
yeah.
just do D. I mean, how what's the? That's what I was going to ask you. What the biggest challenge with social media was, because social media have somebody doing anything, and I feel like today we live in the world where following is cool now. Like when we was younger, if you was a follower, like you get the grind of the century, but now it's like cool to be a follower. So social media is easy for somebody to, just try to tarnish everything that you're teaching somebody without even like taking you into account. You know what I mean? Like that dude that was eating the meat. I don't want to say his name because but I'm just saying. And then,
Pause. That
but there
was
was a guy.
crazy.
There was a guy on social media.
Oh, you eating all the
Yeah,
red
yeah, eating
animals and shit.
raw red meat
The
and
yeah,
saying
the
that he
biking
was
dude.
getting
Yeah, yeah,
right, saying he was getting 100% protein
yeah.
from using this method of
Right.
ingesting the meat.
It,
But in all actuality, he was on the spike. So
and that's huge. It was. And it's the same thing with the women too, Look, and I don't have nothing against anybody that gets work done, right? A
work
lot of
done.
the influencers, that people get work done, and then they're in the gym, they're doing like these glute exercises, and it's like, no, that's not even how you got that. So
Yep.
you definitely got to be. That's why I said you got to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
they be in there on that machine, the kickback machine. You know what I mean? Legs
Yeah.
this big and the booty this big, and it's just going. You're like, yo, you did not work for that, yo.
Disclaimer. He said it. We did
Yeah. Because they
it.
say anything. They
Yeah,
say anything.
for
We
real,
just
for
here to
real.
make sure you don't miss it when they
Nah,
say
but
it.
I don't,
Absolutely.
personally, I don't like the look. The ant joint, the ant look,
Oh
the
man.
Bug's Life look. I don't like it.
So you got to be very careful who you listen to. It's hard. Social media has made it. You gotta understand the fitness industry is a billion-trillion-dollar industry right now,
Definitely is.
right? So there's a lot of people that it's easy to take a shortcut and say, "Hey, I did it like this," but eventually, the truth ends up coming out, and even with people, like saying taking the spike, I see that a lot with a lot of the males. But what's also big right now is a lot of these young people, and I just seen a 32-year-old influencer passed away, are having these heart attacks because they're spiking their bodies and messing with their hormones, and next thing you know, they're eating whatever, and things are just getting messed up. And a lot of young people are passing away from listening to the wrong type of people that they want to get advice from. So be very careful of who you're taking advice from out there, especially when it comes to your health. Because who you at the end of the day, you are your best doctor. you know what's wrong with you, and you know what's good for you. So you want to make sure you're listening to the right people.
But so you're in that industry, so I know you heard of the carnivore diet.
Absolutely, yeah, yep,
What
yep.
do you feel about that? What's your take on that?
So when it comes to different, I don't want to call them diets, like different lifestyles. I've seen. I was vegan for like 3 weeks. I did it. I did it for like 3 weeks. It's very challenging. It's very challenging. I will say this. Shout out to Lou Smith. If you ever get a chance to watch The Game Changer on Netflix, it's all about vegans who are successful, like athletes and fighters and stuff like that. Uh, When it comes to the different like eating lifestyles, you got to figure out what works for you. Based upon like your height and your weight is what you really need to go upon. Now, I don't have every answer for that. But I would say this, the shorter you are, because I'm 5'6", maybe 7, something like that on the weekends, 8, something.
Ain't nothing wrong
Um,
with that.
you know what I mean?
Don't you
I'm
got that?
shorter.
You got a club foot too, though, ain't it? Like one leg longer than the other one. Got that thick heel, swinging that, swinging that leg all around.
A little couple extra inches on the shoe make you a little bit taller. You know what I mean? But
Right.
so I've seen unhealthy and I've seen healthy people that are vegans, vegetarians, people that follow paleo, and people that follow carnivore. So you want to have a nice portion of your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats as well too. Me, I follow like a keto lifestyle because of my height, so I do like more proteins and more fats and less carbohydrates. So the carnivore diet is not bad, but you do got to be careful. You can have an overconsumption of protein as well too. But like I said, at the end of the day, make sure you check with your doctor and ask him first. Like, hey, is this type of diet? For instance, you might want to get your blood work done. My boy, he had his blood work done, and come to find out, he's actually allergic to red meat. So imagine me if I put him on a carnivore diet, just saying because I think that's what's healthy for him. And here, I wouldn't even know that he can't even have that sort of stuff. So, like I said, everybody's body is different. Most of it is just trial and error, figuring out what works for you. Because what works for me might not work for the next person, and what works for that person might not work for somebody else.
You know what burns me out? I could never be a vegetarian, but anyway, I don't know. Maybe I could. I don't know. I can't say I would never. I don't like when they be trying to make the food look like fish or they make it look like chicken.
Yeah,
I don't. I think that's just you. You doing? You might as well just eat some chicken. You're doing too much. You making it wrapping. They got a fake bone, a wooden bone in it. Like
he
you in there.
said a fake wooden bone.
You're in there tripping. You're in there playing with Play-Doh and stuff like that. Talking about, yeah, I
I
just
will,
eat the. What do you kind of confuse yourself for? Either you want it or you don't.
I will tell you this, right? If you will do your research on like Dr. Sebi and things like that.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely follows him.
yeah, it is true as far as see, this takes it down a whole nother hole right now. As humans, we necessarily don't have to eat a bunch of meat. Like I said, if you ever watched that show, The Game Changer, it's a documentary on Netflix. It'll show you like there are athletes out there that are very successful in what they do, and they don't consume a bunch of meat. They don't consume no meat at all. So the example that I always hear people was the strongest animal in the jungle is the gorilla, and it doesn't eat no meat at all. So as far as humans, do we necessarily need the meat? That's to say. I hear people say, "Oh, I gotta have my protein. It makes me stronger. It makes me lift heavier. It makes me feel much better." So, but I also see vegans that can do the same thing as well too.
Yeah, I
I
see
watched.
all the strongest animals don't eat
I
meat.
mean, yeah, right.
I
See,
watched the documentary.
Horses.
I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead, one.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say horses, gorillas, all
yeah.
the biggest animals don't eat meat,
Isn't that crazy?
I
and
And
they're
then
watched the
it's
all
the
doc.
muscle,
strongest ones
all
too.
muscle. They're all
Yep.
strongest.
I watched a documentary before about how a marketing company uh, put the spotlight on protein and made it so you believe that protein. You got that protein ideology in your brain,
Hmm.
and in the documentary, they bagged up powdered sugar in
Yeah.
capsules
Uh-huh.
and they sold it. And they did like nationwide reviews and was asking how they make you feel. And everybody's like, man, I feel better. I feel this.
Right. The
If I don't
placebo
take it,
effect.
I have bad days. I'm arguing with my
Yeah.
wife. And they just looking at these people like, it's
Yeah.
how easy the
Yeah.
brain can be manipulated
Abs-
to
absolutely.
perform.
Yep.
It's like when you up under that weight sometimes and you might not have your spot with you and you know, like, I got to get this off
It-
me. You got to
see?
put your brain in a place where you're
Yep.
like, I'm getting this off me. I'm
Yeah.
getting it. I'm pushing this weight off me. You know what I mean? Or your spot don't want to lift it. You better lift it. You better
You
lift it.
know, well, Lou Smith, who is he's like my goddad, he's a mentor to me out in California. I trained under him after I left 24. I remember him telling me, he was like, "Man, you always don't want to depend on supplements." He's like, because what happens if the supplements somehow run out, they're not available? You gotta have it. The main supplement you gotta have is up in your mind. So with that being said, you're 100% right. You can't depend on the protein. You can't depend on the carbohydrates. You can't depend on the fats. You got to depend on your mind telling yourself that you can do this more than anything, because that's where it all starts, is up in your mind. So you're absolutely right about that.
So so you train a lot of people, everybody from Tracee Ellis Ross, like I said, Morris Chestnut, Cordell Broadus, Shock G. What's the difference when you're training high level clients versus like regular Joes?
Like us. Joe's like us.
Yeah, Joe Schmo.
They're always late. Always late. Celebrities are always late. You end up waiting on them. No, they like, you gotta understand something. They feel entitled because they got, they're celebrities. Um, the biggest thing is that, they have a little bit more time. Based upon their careers. So, but they understand that they are in the spotlight, so they're going to be in front of the cameras, so they have to look, they know for sure that they got to look good in front of these cameras, so they're going to make working out a priority because they know they got something coming up, they know they got to look good in front of the cameras. So I would say the biggest difference is the mindset. They know that they got to be in front of the cameras, whereas somebody, a regular person, they might not be as motivated or have much discipline because they're just doing this for the regular day health thing. So the biggest thing is, and I always tell people, when you are on your fitness journey, there has to be some sort of final destination. Like, you got to have a goal, like, in order to stay disciplined and stay on it. Like, you got to say, okay, cool. If I'm going to do it starting in July, I want to make sure that by the end of August, maybe you're doing a photo shoot, or, you're going to a studio and you're doing something live in front of a camera, because that's going to make sure that you're getting from point A in July to the end of August and making sure that you're staying disciplined. That's all they do, is they know they got something big coming up. They'll make sure that they're going extra hard in the gym for the next couple of weeks.
Who was your favorite celebrity that you worked?
I would say Tracee Ellis. She is who she is in person, like who she is on TV. I think when I went up to her and I told her I was meant to be her trainer, she was just who she was as far as being on TV. Very, laid back, funny. I had a good time training her, but unfortunately, people were coming up because we were training outside, and people were coming up asking her for like autographs and things like that. So,
Made it awkward for a little bit.
yeah, it got cut short. But man, she had actually had me laughing the whole time during our training sessions. I try to keep it professional as possible, but she is hilarious. But they're always late though, bro. That's the only thing about training celebrities. They be late, man. They be late. 20, 30 minutes late.
Can't wait to the point where I'm able to be late for everything.
Yeah, you late now. They going you be on the next thing,
I'm
unemployment line.
hoping it ain't. I'll
Hey,
be ready.
look. So in that light, right? How did you build? Just how did you build from just a regular job, like personal training? That's a job. How did you build it into a brand where you bumping into people like Tracee Ellis Ross, Morris Chestnut, Snoop's son, and then building your brand up enough to where because everybody does a background check or research that where they're asking about you and people are confirming like, yeah, go to him. This guy's good. How did you build that brand? What did you do different than the average personal trainer who's just going in every day and getting going in weekly and getting 40 hours in?
That's a great question. I started. I remember I had cards, and just from watching different people from where I grew up at, you gotta understand something. It's a grind. You Those cards are like samples. So there's a store called Air One, which is super popular. And what I would do is I would go there and I would train in the morning time, and I would go to Air One 11 at like 11 a.m. and I literally would sit outside with my cards and wait for these people to walk by and just say hello to them. And then they would go into the store. I would go into the store. I give them my card, and I would just start talking to them. So mine was just basically hand to hand. I was going like it's the same thing I was doing in the gym. Showing people my presentation, that I did care about them and the training as well too. So I started from the bottom, making sure that, I actually went and touched hands. I think T.I. said before he sold 1 million records, he shook 1 million people's hands. And I think that's the main part that people forget is you got to really, basically go door to door with this if you're serious about it. You're not going to always get the referral when you need it, but if you really want it, you got to go out there and be amongst the people. And I did that like for like 6 months straight, just sitting out there, like to where it was to the point like people would walk by and be like, "Yo, I didn't forget. I got your car. I'm gonna hit you up. About personal training. I got something coming up." So just staying down and making sure that you're taking care of your business from the crossing your T's and dotting your I's from the beginning.
Now this question ain't in my notes, but when you said that knocking on doors and all that, this ain't about me, but I used to be a project manager for a roofing company, and I just felt real awkward knocking on doors. You know what I mean? Like with my complexion, most of you know, the customers that I was trying to reach wasn't my complexion. I just felt real weird, and I got real weird reactions. Did you ever come across any of that?
Yeah,
Not being the right complexion.
yo, that's a great question. So one time when I was in
Hmm.
I was deep in I was in like Beverly Hills. Now mind you, I'm going up to everybody, me, hey, how you doing? This and the third. And I was in this super rich section and I seen this old white lady and was like, hey, and she was like, ah! And she almost fell
Yeah,
fell
right,
down the hill. So I felt awkward doing that, but um not every person that you come across is going to be a customer. So you got to look at it as like practice. What did I just learn from that presentation? Now, what I learned from that is I can't go up to like this is the older lady, being that I am African American, she might not take my presentation the same way that somebody else will. So, but you also got to remember that it's practice. So you're just going to take whatever you learn from, you want to call it failure of the approach that you had, it didn't work. And then, okay, cool. So now how can I incorporate that or make it better to the next time I approach an older lady? Maybe I just need to be a little bit less energy, have a little bit less energy and be a little bit more calmer when I talk to her. So you're going to get those type of people where you're going to feel like that, but realize that's not the person you want to work with anyways.
right.
You want to work
Nah,
with somebody who's going to make you feel comfortable.
I'm not gonna lie, that was discouraging. I
Right.
left that. I
I
was
get
like, you
it.
know what, this ain't for me.
Yeah, it
That was
can be.
discouraging.
It can be cold calling or approaching people like that. It can be. It takes a certain individual to realize, okay, cool. I'm gonna do it this way. If it don't work, I'm gonna still figure out how to make it happen regardless. It's just trial and error. It's just like your fitness journey. It's like whatever don't work for you right now, you'll figure out a way to make it work for you eventually.
So I
Beautiful.
got one coming from the chat. Right, it says, "What's the sacrifice you had to make to get to the level you're at now?"
Um, Man, and that's a great question. Uh, I get a little emotional about it because I had to leave my family. I remember when the day that I left to come to go to California. I remember like my dad was all for it, and my mom, she didn't even like look at me. She was like upset that I was leaving. So one of the biggest sacrifices I had to make was I had to leave everything. My family's from here, and realize that I was going off on a journey that was going to eventually pay off in the end. And I remember maybe about halfway of living in California, my mom finally said to me, like, I really feel like you made the best decision was to leave Redden, So the biggest sacrifice was just knowing I wasn't going to see my family for because I was only coming home, I think it was like once a year and like for Christmas time, and that was it. So the biggest sacrifice I had to make was, missing My nephew was just born at the time. I think he was like 6 months, and my other nephew, he was young too. So not seeing your family for being across, 3,000 miles away from home was the biggest sacrifice I had to make for sure.
And I want to say sorry for the loss of your father.
Yeah,
Big
sorry for
Ern
that,
was
man.
Thank you.
Big Ern was
Thank you.
beautiful, man. That
He
was
was
a
a
Yeah.
beautiful
special,
man.
strong.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah,
not to cut you. I'm sorry.
yeah. Your
No,
dad was beautiful, and you had a dad, and he was always honest, and he was there
Absolutely.
for you, and he was a straight shooter. And
Absolutely.
as a let me ask you a question,
let me let me
personal
let me
question.
touch on that right what you just said before you go to the question.
Absolutely.
But he was a strong man and he was a real man. And I just want to say my
Thank
condolences
you.
also too, bro.
Thank
Yes,
you.
man. We
Appreciate
loved your
that. Thank you
dad,
so
man. Your
much.
dad was
Straight
honest.
Thank you
straight
so much.
shooter. He was a straight
Yeah.
shooter.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, guys. I
So
appreciate that.
totally, man. I love your whole family. Um, what I was gonna say was in today's
Miss
society,
Barbara
right?
too. How you doing?
Yes, Miss Barbara,
Mom.
won't curse us out. Um, in today's society, right? You are somebody. Okay, let's look at it like this. Let's get deep. You're somebody who grew up in a two-parent household. You had your mother and your father in the house the whole time, right? And you're a successful black man in your 40s with no children, and you're doing well for yourself, right? From somebody who grew up in that type of environment. Because, like, even me and Bun, we didn't grow up in a household with our mom and dad to get there working with each other. In today's society, right, for the youth, for the young people having babies coming up, what's the best advice you can give them as far as like trying to keep the family unit together? Because, like, you turned out to be all right having your mom and dad in the house. Not saying people who don't got their mom and dad in the house don't, but as somebody who had their mom and their dad in the house, like, what's some advice you could give the young couples today, like not to be throwing their relationships away and stay resilient and being good parents and trying to keep a two-parent household?
We all, I feel like eventually as individuals, we all have to realize it's going to come a time where our families are going to depend on us, no matter what your household was, right? And it's up to you to to want to take the reins and make sure that your family is good, because there has to be a leader. Like, I use the analogy of, like, wolves, right? They run in packs, but I want to make sure I say this right. The strongest, they have the weak people in the front and the strongest in the back, to make sure that if anything happens to the people in the front, the people in the back can make sure that they're pulling from the back and making sure that they're okay. It's the same thing with us. We have to make sure that if we're going to take care of our families, that we have to be the strongest and making sure that we're either leading from the front, which they usually have the older people in the front, or we're leading from the back, and realize that there's no difference, that it goes hand in hand. Either you're in the front and you have the wisdom, or you're in the back and you're the strongest. What does Jay say? Everybody got a part to play. You know what I'm saying? So you got to realize your part in your family and what you got to play. And one thing I love about my family is, my niece. Shout out to her. She's in the health industry. So when it comes to like nursing stuff, I can always call on her. My sister, she has a one heck of a story. And she's good with paperwork. My mom, she leads by example. She just retired. And my nephews, they're like the young pups coming up in this world. So you got to understand what part do you play in your family, as far as, leading for your family. And you got to, that part of leadership, you got to be the best part of leadership that you have for your family, in order to make sure that y'all being successful and making it in this world. Because see, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you can't look down on somebody because they might have the financially going through it, or whatever their story is. Everybody has strong points and everybody has weak points. As a family, it's like a team. Okay, cool. You got your point guard, you got your forward, you got your center. Everybody got a part to play. In order for the team to be successful, you all got to be on the same page and accept each other for who you are, and grind it out that way, because not everybody is going to be on the same page. You look at what this person is good for, and then you accept them for what they are, and you motivate them, and you make sure that you are encouraging them, like, hey, you're doing a really good job, just to let you know. Or this person, okay, they might not be so good with the job or whatever, but hey, you know what? You're not doing so good at that job, but I do want to say I'm glad that you got a job and you're able to keep the job and still provide income. Because at the end of the day, we all on the same road. We all got the same goal. We're all trying to survive and make it out here.
Beautiful.
That's dope. So
Beautiful.
what? So what's one small habit everybody watching can start tonight that's gonna move the needle for them? Or
That's a great
what would you
question right there.
suggest?
Find something. Well, find something that you really like to do. Are we talking about working out, or just in life in general?
I'm talking about working out. Because most everything in life starts with one aspect, and that's mentality. So it's basically pertaining to everything.
That's a great question, Buns. How you start your day is everything. I'm not. I can be consistent with it, but I also can be inconsistent with it. But I'm getting better with it each day. How you start your day means everything, and what I mean by that is, what's the first thing you do when you first wake up? Do you grab your phone? Do you go on social media? Do you listen to music? Like, what are you listening to? Like, what frequency are you creating the minute that you wake up, right? It's like this. Even just setting your keys in the right spot, in one spot, like at my house, we have like a key hanger. Now, you can walk in the house and forget about it and have your keys in your pocket or throw your keys somewhere. And then you wake up, you're like, where are my keys? Where are my keys? But if you hang those keys up every single day, I guarantee you it's going to keep you from stressing where your keys are at when you're rushing to get out the house to get to where you're trying to go to. So I would say create one small positive thing that you can start your day with. It could be anything. It could be, if you say you're going to the gym, you could have your stuff packed already. You could have your stuff in your car. If you say you're going to go for a walk, you could have your shoes at the door. So when you come home after your job, you can put those shoes on right away. Or if you're going to change your eating habits, you can say, okay, cool. You know what? I'm going to make sure I make a salad today. You can have that salad prepared maybe a couple hours before or the night before so that you're starting your day and making sure you have some sort of positive thing that you're doing so you can go about your day. Because I really believe first thing in the morning is it sets a tone for the day. It's real easy to let the negative sink in the moment you wake up. And if you are trying to push the needle and become a better person, you have to start your day with something positive. Because the minute you step out your door, you're dealing with a lot of different energies that can actually hold you back from what you're trying to do. So make sure you start your day on the right note. Give yourself at least 5 minutes, maybe 2 to 3 minutes to start. 5 minutes might be too long for some people, but at least give yourself 2 to 3 minutes when you first wake up. Tell yourself that you look good, or put something nice on, or tell yourself that you're beautiful, or you're going to be successful today. To make sure that you're telling yourself who you are before this world tries to tell you who you are. And like I said,
No,
I'm I'm not perfect at it, but I'm getting better at it each day.
no, I know what you mean because I seen some like a little short on, I don't know if it was like YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, but Denzel Washington said the same thing. He said basically, don't just jump out of bed, don't just grab your phone. He was like, sit there. When you sit there and in the dark, don't turn the TV on, nothing. You sit there for that first couple of minutes. When you open your eyes, you can kind of, you got clarity. You can kind of plan
Yes.
your day off, and you start on a more, you know, more relaxed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Say, I was talking to Wells earlier about the 90-10 rule,
Hmm.
right? Basically, an outcome is based off 90% reaction to 10% of the initial cause
Right.
of that action. So how
Absolutely.
you react to something is basically going to determine the outcome of the, the whole situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so if you start off, your reaction to waking up is on some. I'm looking at social media and watching fight videos. You're gonna be on go all day. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You
Yeah.
And
watching
if you
food videos,
and
you're
if
gonna
you
be
can't
hungry all
fight,
day.
you better
Yeah.
hope you can fight.
You're gonna be hungry all day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So I do try to do that. I do try to do that. But this is about you. Go ahead.
No, please. I want y'all to whatever y'all adding on to it. I think that the audience needs to hear stuff like this. It's so crucial those first couple of minutes that you wake up, man. I mean, it's if you believe in energy, you gotta understand if you want to have a great day, if you want to start your day with positive energy, you got to start with something positive. You have to, because the minute you pick up this phone, I mean, the energy you can get a text message, somebody's cussing you out, and if you could have, if you don't put something positive in your life, you're going to be sitting there trying to cuss that person out. But if you took a couple of minutes to say, you know what, today I'm not going to let anybody's energy affect me. I'm going to make sure that I have positive energy throughout the day. You might take a second before you reply to that text. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what? I don't even need to answer this person because what they're talking about, I ain't going to let it ruin my day. And then just let it slide. Because
That was
it's
my
probably not that important anyways. You get what I'm saying?
that was my
But
whole
if you
day
sit
today.
there and you react to it and you go into the start texting, you're literally giving that person that energy is being transferred right into your frequency right away.
You letting them control your destiny.
That'll control you. Yeah, exactly.
So
Yep.
to switch back to the interview, right? What's the difference? All right. What's the difference of success now versus when you first started
In your mind.
in your mind?
Um. So my when I first started, of course, I was like, oh, I want to be like a celebrity trainer. I want to be a celebrity trainer. After doing it and having those type of clients and getting that under my belt, they always say once you accomplish it, you're like, oh well, like what's next? Now, I just realized the importance of really continue to be who I am and just showing people that it, the healthy life isn't necessarily so much about looking good or, you do want to feel good about it, but it is more about the happiness part of it. What I mean by that is the physical is one thing, but are you 'cause you get people that have great shapes and they're not happy, that have the body that they want, but they're not happy in their life. And the biggest thing right now with me is showing my clients what true happiness and peace looks like, more than what the physical aspect of it looks like. You know what I'm saying? I guess you could say I've always wanted to, you know, be that high end trainer, but now I realize what my purpose is to make sure that I'm spreading positivity and making sure that happiness is the main goal and peace is also the goal as well too. See that charger?
Beautiful.
What you got, Wells?
These are great
No,
questions, fellas.
no.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I was making sure Ernie's camera and stuff. But yeah, this was a good show, man. I think a lot of information was given out. If I know it could be watched over and over again, and the information to interact with Ernie and utilize his services, because he doesn't just personal train. He does a lot of things, and once you get to know what he provides, you'll be able to utilize his services. I just want to say thank you for coming on, Ernie. Like, we appreciate you, man. We we uh we proud of you. A lot of times this is just one of them days where you just, we just you get your praise because it's lacked, and we feel like
Thank you.
our show is really a place where people can come and feel free to be who you are, instead of talking to
Mhm.
somebody and they look, what I mean, like, it's like, and the energy, because whenever you trying to go do something successful or be a change, you're gonna have way more haters than you're gonna have, love. And we just want to bring you on here as part of like our catalog of people who we feel made good transitions in their life and did good things with themselves. And their story is worth telling something, and their journey is worth utilization for the average person's journey. And you are available to be able to be utilized by people, and we just trying to connect the plugs so everybody can be able to get in shape, have a healthy life, and
Yeah,
understand how important personal training and physical fitness is.
Now,
absolutely.
are you back around here?
Yep, I'm back. I'm back in the 610. Yep, absolutely.
So you open
My
to new
Ace,
clients?
absolutely. You can hit me up on Instagram, my Ace Fitness, or you can find me on I also do classes. I do a boxing class at Wild Fit, and Travis Blandon and I, we do something called Spoxing, which is spinning boxing. Nobody's done that before. If you're interested in doing that, please hit me up. We have that once a month, which is a really good class. We're taking off with that one. But if you want to do any sort of private training, or would you like a consultation with me, you can also find me on Facebook as well too, under Ace Fitness. Ace Walton or Ernest T. Walton Jr. on there as well too. And first, I want to thank both of y'all, because if anybody knows how hard I really had to work, it's y'all two. Coming from where we come from, it's not easy, and to be able to make this transition and to be successful at this, it takes a lot of hard work and determination to get to where we're trying to get to. But like you said, if we all work together, and we go after this, we can definitely make it possible. One hand wash the other, but both wash the face. So thank y'all
Yeah.
for having me on this platform. I really appreciate
Listen,
it.
before we go, I know there's a couple more questions. Is there anything you want to tell anybody? Far as like whatever you want to tell them, fitness, health. What would be a message you would give to our viewers?
The most important business that you'll ever run is your body. Um, I don't care if you have a lot of money, if you've acquired a lot of certificates, diplomas, whatever. Make sure that the number one business that you are taking care of is you, because you only get one location. That's it. You only get one location, and if that something happens to that location, that store or that business can't open up, then there's a problem. So take some time. It doesn't have to be a whole 30 minutes of working out. Just take some time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and do something that is going to be some sort of exercise. Like I said, walking's the best thing. I'm glad they actually opened Stone Cliff. I don't know if y'all know, Stone Cliff was closed for a while, and they just recently opened that back up. Just go for a walk and get some air. Get outside. People be saying they outside, for real. Go outside.
What you got to
Yeah,
say to that
I
girl
went
from
down there a few
Miami?
times. I went down
What
there a
girl?
few times. They had water everywhere.
What girl from Miami?
Girl that left when you was on. What you got to say to her today? The girl that left
Oh,
when you
oh,
was in
oh,
Miami.
oh,
What you got
oh,
to say to her today? Like, I mean, we're here now. What you got to say to her? Like,
oh.
hey,
So
She got the
I happen
vapors.
I happened to see
She
her. She
got the
came
vapors.
she came out to see me. She came out to see me in California, and I picked her up from the airport, and I was like, oh man,
did
like
you
what the?
flex on her? Was you
Yeah,
doing
I
all the
did.
shit like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
abs,
Like, you know what I mean?
no,
Like, you
Yeah,
already know.
you
Like,
see
you know what I
that over
mean? Like,
there?
absolutely. As soon as we got back to the house, I
What
changed my
time is it,
shirt and
baby? What
everything.
time is
right.
Absolutely. You know
Well,
what I
you
mean?
want
I
to go
had to
down
let her.
there or you want to go down
Oh, you want
there?
to go down?
Cause
He
my
said like
shit,
this.
what you
Well,
think?
The
you
beach
want to
is
go
over
down
there.
there, or you want to go over
You don't
there?
know, man.
Yeah.
Yo, oh man.
I know
Hey,
pork. I
man, I
know
love
pork
y'all
love
too,
you
man.
to.
I
I know
appreciate this
pork love
interview,
you to
man.
death, and he wanted to ask you a few questions, Ernie.
Yeah, Pork
Oh,
got
Yo,
something.
absolutely.
Ernie, what's
What's
up, man?
what's good, Port? What's going on?
Chilling, man. Just out here tanning. But I got a question. So, from you taking the transition in Cali and coming
Hmm.
back to Redding, like, how is that? How is that? Is that a good thing or a bad
Hmm.
thing? What's the
Mm,
pros and cons?
I thought I
good
was done with
question.
I thought I was done with the questions, Port. That's an absolute good question. You know, the journey is never ending, right? So the biggest thing I'm learning right now is mental health more than anything. It's easy to pick up 100-pound weight, but it's so hard to let something go, right? And what I mean by that
Pause.
is
Bars.
You have to
Bars.
being able to, because it's a huge difference. You get what I'm saying? Um, you one of the things I did want to tell you this: you might not be able to change your past, but the good news is you can change your perspective. You see, with the right perspective, the impossible becomes possible.
Right.
So I have to realize that where I'm at right now is where I'm supposed to be in my life,
Okay.
and be able to make that transition into where I'm and to help me out and where I'm trying to go. It's
I can
not going to be
attest to that.
easy. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but realize that as long as I make sure that my perspective is right on where I am trying to go, that I'm going to be okay. And that's a great question, Pork, that you asked, because that's probably one of the biggest things that I've been struggling with mentally, is making the transition from that lifestyle to being over here. But like I said, the biggest sacrifice I made was not seeing my family for so long. But now that I can be here, that's the biggest blessing out of
I was
everything, is
I was
having my
gonna
family right now.
I was gonna say, like, some things are worth more than money, man.
It,
You know what I mean? Like, some
absolutely,
things are worth more
one
than money, man.
hundred percent. Yeah,
And
man.
with the mental health thing, me and Bun talk on the phone from like 6 in the morning all day. Like, you ever feel like that? Call us, cause like we
Yeah, I'm
always
up. You know, I'm
motivating
up
the
2 in
juice,
the
and we don't
morning.
sleep. Yeah, we be operating. So
Say
whenever you
that.
feel like that, call us, cause they don't matter what time it is. Bun be up like 2:30 in the morning. I'll be up at 5. So if you ever feel like that, call us, cause we don't do no judging over here, just like we don't do no budging. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
So
that.
we ain't running
Yeah,
from it neither. We gonna fight our
yeah.
demons. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
beat the brakes off my demons sometimes. They be
I,
beating my baby, get me sometimes. But
listen, I learned a different strategy. I make friends with them.
yeah,
Mm.
that's what I'm
Me
saying.
and
Like,
my
I thought I was
demons
Mm-hmm.
cool
scared.
as shit, Ernie. You hear me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Me and
Mm-hmm.
my demons
Yo,
thorough. My demons is cool.
and that's what we need more of, is to be able to reach out and have these phone calls, because we could get on the phone with each other and talk about basketball, football, but let's talk about something real. Like, what are you going through in your life that's going to make sure that you're going to have a successful day today? I
That's
think that's what we could talk about. Rap, we could talk about whatever, but no, let's talk about, hey, what's going on in your life right now. So, Pork, I want to say thank you. That was a one heck
I
of a
think
question, yo.
I think that's the
I
biggest
appreciate
part
it.
of our mental health, because you can't really express it to your woman, because then you're sassy or
Right.
soft or weak. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
it's like all we got is us. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Wellesley can get and pour like, yo man, blah, 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 blah. Then I could do the same. You know what I mean? And then
Mm-hmm.
once I say it, he don't even gotta say nothing. Once I say it, it's off my chest. I don't feel like that anymore. I'm cool. That's
You see?
therapy, bro.
I
That's right.
snap
No, for
out.
real.
I
Exactly.
snap out
Absolutely.
every day. I get like a 3 minute. I just snap, and Bun to be like, I just let you go because I know you
Yeah.
needed to get that off.
Cause
See? And
But then we
when
come
you're
back to normal, and
talking,
I be like, yeah, I was tripping.
when you're talking, you're actually listening to yourself.
right.
Absolutely.
So
Mm-hmm.
someone doesn't need to chime. No one needs to chime in. You're listening to
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and you're gonna solve your own problem listening to
Yep.
yourself. So I just let him
Absolutely.
talk. I let
Yeah.
him talk, and by the time he's done, he be like, "Yeah, but I'm tripping though. I ain't even have to say nothing." You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
he needs that though. You know what I'm saying? He needs that somebody he can
Cause
call,
sometimes you
he
need
needs that.
somebody not to answer. Like
Right.
sometimes you need somebody to just look at you so you can
Yep.
realize like I'm bugging, ain't? And they're like,
Yeah.
it's all
Yep.
right. You know what I mean?
And
But
at
you're
the end
not
of the
bugging
day,
though. You're
and
not
at the
bugging.
No. Cause you
You
don't
don't.
be bugging, you be right. But the
Yo,
way
you
you
don't.
can't go about it the way you want to, that don't mean you could just carry out a mass murder or no stuff
No,
like
no, no.
that. But
But you
you better
don't
calm
realize
down.
that when you be venting to me, I don't know no one else that's like when you're having a bad day for some reason, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, it's
You know what I'm
synonymous.
saying? So you don't know when you snap, I'm feeling the same exact way. So when you get it out, it's like I got it out.
right.
Right.
So once you be like, nah, but I'm tripping, cause you'll fix your own problem. You be like, I'm tripping. I'm gonna just do this and in my mind, I'm like, dang, he just helped me because that's all I need to do. You know
That's
what I'm
what
trying
real
to say?
Right.
brother. That's
Real
what real
shit.
brotherhood's about, yo. You supposed to be able to call your brother, tell him everything you're going through
Anytime. Cause
at
you
any
never
time,
know.
anytime in the day. You never know. Never know. I
You
know
never know.
we definitely lost a lot of people that we know that, you know what I'm saying, that we wish we could have been there for and had these conversations with, you know, hey, making sure everything is all right with them. And, you know, unfortunately we didn't get that. So we definitely, with the ones that we do have left, we got to keep that intact and make sure that we're keeping each other
It'd be
strong minds.
wild. It'd be wild because a lot of people that are no longer here. A lot of them you wouldn't think like, damn, you wouldn't think that they would have
Right.
departed so fast.
Right.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like, damn, like all people,
Yeah.
like a lot of people say to me, like, yo, I'm surprised you made it to that age. I'm like, well, I'm not. I knew I was gonna make it here. I had a plan and I was getting here regardless. So I don't know what
people don't say it to me. But
like
what they do say, I can tell they're like, damn, I'm surprised he's still here. You know
what you mean I'm still here?
Like, but they don't say it, but I can feel, you know, I decipher everything somebody says to me.
Yeah.
So in my mind, they're thinking like, damn, he's not in jail or he's not dead yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, Bun, I seen you driving the truck. Like, what? I'm not capable of driving a truck? Like, that's how lowly do you think of me? And that's motivation, though. That pushed me to shit on you. I just want to pose Captain Morgan on, like Wellesley says. You know what I'm saying? Like,
leg up.
Yeah.
Dougie on
him. Right. Right. But Ernie, man, we really, really appreciate you. For one more time, if you could tell them where they could reach you at, man. You know, I think you can help a lot of people, man, especially me.
Absolutely. I'm on IG, MY Ace Fitness, ACEFITNESS, or you can find me on Facebook, Ace Walton or Ernest T. Walton Jr. on there.
K. Tyrone Jr.
Yes, sir.
We definitely appreciate you, man.
I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. And listen, what y'all doing, reaching back to the, you know, what y'all started and what y'all doing, reaching back to the hometown team means a lot to us, yo. Thank y'all for giving people that, somebody like myself, this opportunity to for one, giving us our flowers, and number two, letting us show people that, you know, you can make this transition and be successful in this life. Cause y'all doing it for sure. So salute to y'all, for real.
Absolutely. Salute to you.
Yeah.
Salute to you. Salute to you.
Yeah, once again, this is They Say Anything. You can catch us every weekend, Saturdays, 4 p.m. with another banger for you. We appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Bun.
I'm Wellesley.
I'm Pork.
Peace and blessings to you
They
all.
Say Anything.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
Hit that button. Hit
that
button.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
And I'm sorry, I noticed some technical difficulties. My shit told me, my feed told me that Facebook dropped off on us. So it'll upload and you can just watch it.
And we just beginning. We got a lot of more in-depth stuff coming. And you one thing is with us is you're never gonna be disappointed.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we're gonna try to make it so y'all keep tuning in.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Because they're gonna say anything. We just try to make sure you don't miss it.
Ooh.
Right.
Whether it be good or bad, at least you know you heard it from the horse's mouth. Game.
Holla.
Yep.
That's fire. Yo, that was.